Everybody, I'm Eric Bowling along with Andrea Tantaros. He's back, Bob Beckel, Dana Perino, and Greg Gutfeld. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The Five. The White House on the hot seat today, from Eric Holder getting seared by a congressional panel to a joint Senate FBI probe into how and why classified intel is being systematically leaked to certain media outlets, wiretaps, drones, Mexican drug cartels. It was a fast and furious day in D.C. Let's start with the Attorney General from earlier today.
Have you and your attorneys produced internally the materials responsive to the subpoenas?
We believe that we have responded to the subpoena.
No, Mr. Attorney General, you're not a good witness. A good witness answers the question asked. So
We've reviewed over 140,000 documents and produced to you about 7,600.
So 140,000 documents. How many documents are responsive but you are withholding at this time?
Well, we've produced 7,600.
Look, I don't want to hear about the 7,600.
Chairman, I would beg to allow...
The lady is out of order. Would the lady please
Mr. Chairman,
suspend?
in parliamentary inquiry, excuse me.
Did you not ever go back to your office and say, when you found out about Fast and Furious, I demand to know who authorized this? Are things so fast and loose in your office that somebody can authorize the sale to international criminals of American guns that are bringing about the death of even American agents, and nobody has to do that in writing?
Wow, these guys are fired up. Andrew, what do you make of that?
Well, I think it's funny that ISIS said, you don't make a very good witness. He also doesn't make a very good lawyer. I thought ISIS' line of questioning was pretty darn good. And this is such a complex story, and I think a lot of us are wondering, why are we still talking about this? Is this deja vu? Holder's been brought up to the Hill a number of times. The reason we're still talking about this is because they have not answered the question. And by they, I mean Eric Holder. Did it come to him? Did he approve, or who approved at the Department of Justice, the guns to cross the border? And that's the question. What did he know when he knew it? And he has not answered that question. So either he didn't know anything and he's not telling us, or he's hiding very, very damaging revelations.
Hang on there, Bob. Hang on there, big boy. What about it, Greg? I haven't seen the Hill this fired up in a long time.
You know, I got to say, the great thing about Eric Holder, he doesn't have to play dumb.
By the way, don't you think that ISIS manners were there terrifically well? He interrupts the guy 3 different times in a row before he can answer a question. Now, ISIS, I'm sure, didn't interrupt the grand jury when they asked him why he was a criminal when he was stealing cars with his brother.
I saw that coming.
Yeah.
What about
We had a bet before that you were going to say that, and you owe me $20.
No, I'm not paying. Here's the interesting thing. You notice the numbers game. Well, we already turned in 413,000 documents. It's like, right, I've sort of played that game myself. But interesting on this one, people died. Okay, so then that's being taken very seriously. There were more hearings and more front-page news coverage in every single paper when President Bush exercised his authority to ask 7 U.S. attorneys to move on to replace them with other U.S. attorneys. It became this huge scandal. It went on for months. Every reporter covered it. It was front page. They got Pulitzer Prizes for it. And in this one, it's crickets in the rest of the media when it comes to Fast and Furious.
Did you not think he was a little bit rude?
It's just not my style.
Can I defend these guys a little bit, Bob? Every question that was asked of Eric Holder answered a different question. He just went right to the talking point instead of answering the question. So the guys are getting fed up.
Well, getting fed up is one thing. That was the opening question. It seems to me that you at least ought to ask a guy to finish his answer.
How he's doing?
Look, he's not. Look, he's in trouble on this thing. I didn't know Goober got on that committee. What's his name from Texas? Gomer. Sorry.
Delightful.
He's a lovely fellow. But the thing that I find wrong with Holder here is, when he had an operation that was as badly managed as it was on the last 2 administrations, why he picked it up and kept going with it, that's his fault. And I think they just should have dropped it, and they didn't do it, and they made a mistake.
Very importantly, the documents that Darrell Issa had on his desk right there on the stand there showed that Holder's the Department of Justice had to know about Fast and Furious when they all along have said they didn't know about it.
That's right, Eric. There are emails, there's wiretaps, all the evidence is there. They need to know. I'm not going to read them, Bob, as much as you want me to. They need to know, though, who knew at the Department of Justice, who okayed this, and did it reach the highest level? And I don't blame them for getting frustrated. How many hearings have they had? ISA has asked this question. They've wasted our money, our time, and people have died.
Here's the thing that's funny. Holder said that the emails that used the phrase Fast and Furious do not refer to the gun-walking operation Fast and Furious. So now we finally know he's actually just an avid fan of Vin Diesel. And who can blame him? Vin Diesel is dreamy. But keep that out of your work emails.
Exactly.
Holder.
All right, let's move on.
All right, let's
Literally
move on, of course.
across the street,
Sure.
senators
Let's
from
move
both
on.
parties
Fine.
were voicing serious concern over leaks from the Obama administration. Take a listen.
Not only have leaks occurred, but there's been just a cascade of leaks coming out of the intelligence community. It put lives in danger, and it infringes upon the ability of the intelligence community to do their job.
This has to stop. When people say they don't want to work with the United States because they can't trust us to keep a secret, that's serious.
Hey, Bob, that's not Senator McConnell. That's not Boehner. That's not even Rush Limbaugh.
Right.
That's a Democrat, Senator Feinstein, saying, hey, this is bad.
Well, it is bad. I didn't understand the first two people. I need translation for that, but I understood her.
Now you know how the audience feels when you talk.
Right, I understand that, Greg. It's nice to be back here. Take some more shots. Look, can we just concede, and I will at this moment, that Obama now is at least a 5, maybe 7-point underdog, which then begs the question is, you always raise the thing about Obama going out and not dealing with his issues, doing fundraisers. According to Mitt Romney's campaign, he did 7 this weekend, over the weekend. And
Wait, are we
why
still
doesn't
talking
he
about, are we
excuse
still
me,
talking about White House
No,
leaks?
I want to find out what he's going to do about the border crossing specifically, and what is he going to do about jobs specifically. And I want to know whether he did any of his fundraising things around his church. I mean, he went to church. He's a devout man, and I'm sure he raised
Dana,
a lot of money.
Can we stay on topic here?
Yes,
we
I
started
can.
with White House leaks being dangerous and people dying in other countries not wanting to work with us, and somehow Bob
pulled a
got on the
Holder.
Romney fundraiser.
He just pulled an Eric Holder right now by not answering your question.
You get on the Obama fundraisers all the time. Why can't I do that?
Dana.
All right, because we're talking about the leaks, and which it's serious enough that, and on a bipartisan basis, the senators who are in charge of the oversight of national security were concerned enough that they had to bring it up. Now, they are held to secrecy. There was also a witness today from the New York Times who testified, and the questions were put to him. Well, when does the New York Times leak? Well, we don't leak, we just report. Okay, what's so interesting to me about the drone issue compared to the terror surveillance program. When a drone strike hits, there is evidence and you can see it, people die, and governments get mad and they complain back to the United States. So now eventually we have a story about drones. But the difference, huge difference to me, the ACLU, nary a peep from them. But when the President of the United States, President Bush, asked the New York Times, appealed to their patriotism, to please not report the terror surveillance program, they said that out of their sense of duty, they had to go forward and put it out there. And that absolutely changed our intelligence capability.
And you're right about that. When I was in the White House, they started the intelligence committees, and I used to carry that intelligence up every day to those committees. There never were leaks, ever. And I will say this in fairness and as bipartisanship, there's been a lot more leaks, certainly more than under Bush, where there was not many, and there was a lot under Clinton, too. For some reason, the Democrats have a tendency to talk about these things. But I'll tell you, those are highly sensitive documents that we carry up there every day.
Here's the thing. If you want to know where the leaks come from, who do the leaks benefit? That's the question. And the leaks obviously benefit Obama, which means the leaks are coming from the White House because they're making him into the most awesome warrior against terror ever. These leaks help him. What we need to do is we need to airdrop cases of Depends diapers into the Oval Office to stop this leaking, because that's where it's coming from.
You know what, Greg? I actually thought when it first came out, when the story first came out, I thought, wow, they really think that this is going to help them, right? Showing that he's strong, and a lot of people are scratching their heads saying, wow, this is so close to an election year and it's coordinated with their message on foreign policy, why they're doing this. But I actually think it makes them look really weak now. I think all of these leaks, and to have people from their own party coming out criticizing them, makes them look bad. It's backfiring on what they want to do.
Hand.
Right.
They're trying too hard. He's a good commander-in-chief, good on anti-terrorism policy. You don't have to prove it.
Let me tell you something. The people
in the
doing
New York
the leaking
Times,
here are people, Democrats on the intelligence committees. It's not Obama. It doesn't come from the Oval.
Could it be Dianne Feinstein covering herself up?
We don't know that.
Before we go, one more soundbite from yesterday. Darrell Issa grilling someone on what constitutes a green job. Watch.
Do garbage men have green jobs?
Yes.
Does the teenage kid who works full-time at a used record shop count?
Yes.
Wouldn't an oil lobbyist count as having a green job if they are engaged in advocacy related to environmental issues?
Yes.
What do you think, Greg?
This is an amazing point. Under this rubric of green jobs, anything could be a green job. In fact, The Five might be the greenest TV show in history because we've recycled this story about 200 times in the last year.
Well, why do we keep doing it? Why don't we talk about green? Do you think when Issa and his brother were in the car swapping business, that was a green job?
That's recycling a car.
Oh,
Why buy a car when you could steal it, Bob?
Okay. You don't want to talk about it. I know you don't. Let's talk about the Obama's fundraiser.
Do you think America realizes when Barack Obama says we've created 3 million green jobs, that includes bus drivers?
I think whoever that witness was
janitors.
either.
So the thing is, the witness was being truthful. That's why I think it is such a good story. That's why it's so sad. He had raised his hand. He swore to tell the truth, and he had to tell America that yes, a bus driver gets the green job check mark.
The fact of the
After
matter
about
is,
3 attempts, he finally came.
No, let me ask you. After a wild
there
night
has been a lot of jobs created.
After a wild night of partying, Greg, like after your birthday, you were looking pretty green. Is that a green job?
Well, I don't know.
Cleaning up after might be.
Yeah, it might be. I left a green job.
When you guys are all choking on smog for fuel, you're going to come back and regret this.
We got to go. Can we go?
No, because you haven't talked about Obama's fundraiser.
We miss you, Bob.
Yeah.
All right, coming up, while America waits the Supreme Court decision on Obamacare, Nancy Pelosi hits the podium. See what she has to say. Ange breaks it all down next.
And the Obama next one.